Hey, good morning. It's 8:46 a.m. It is July 31st. My goodness, this month just flew right by. Okay, so I had some stuff on my mind this morning, and I wanted to get it off my chest because I've got things to do, and this stuff is just kind of swirling around in my head, and it's just something that I feel like I need to release, okay? Um, I had mentioned about, of course, over the years, making several videos since 2015 on this channel for over 10 years, close to over 10 years. Actually, it will be 10 years exactly in September, okay? That I've been making videos, unwinding this whole story and trying to figure out what was going on. It went from me realizing that I was mobbed out of my job to understanding that it was a community harassment participation. Then me, pointing the fingers at my siblings, my adoptive siblings, and then me coming to find out that it was a little bit deeper. The people in the community were involved in it as well as kids I used to know at school. And then in 2023 is when I started to really understand what was going on. Okay. Meanwhile, throughout this entire time, even in 2015, I knew and understood that I was what some people would describe as a targeted individual. It just took me a long time to figure out, exactly what was going on. Okay. Now, what I had uncovered is, the underground crime syndicate that has been responsible for, wrecking my life, and has been very happy and proud of it. Apparently, this seems to be one of their goals is, to compete against bloodlines. Okay. And obviously, this is a inhumane, illegal, and unethical game that people play, and they have merged this interest in with Christianity. And this is the reason why I have suffered for many years, okay? And people have benefited from my suffering because this is a very sick and dark Nazi associated program, okay? So now I have freed myself from the trafficking ring. I have talked about my association with some of these celebrities that were also involved. And I've known for many years that celebrities were associated with things like cloning. And I also knew that they were associated with things like mind control. Going all the way back for my interest and studies in certain celebrities when I was a kid. Now, I've never been somebody who's like, worship celebrities, okay? But I do remember having my interest, and I understand that a lot of celebrities are kept in isolation. They're told very little. They have their surroundings are very controlled, and I thought that is a shame. I am so sorry that this happened to me. Okay, so apparently, I've been doing some of my past life readings. I created uh, a few spreads. Okay, the past life reading that I had originally made with the 22 cards of the major arcana, I have used that. Okay, and then I have also created a special alien spread, and I'm using combinations of both. Okay, to find out information. I know that a lot of the celebrities that I'm associated with have also recently received the devil card. I believe it's the devil card that represents the underground crime syndicate in the spread. Okay, now a lot of people do not understand like the purpose of these sort of cards, okay? But they use it when they test people for psychic gifts or not psychic abilities. Everybody has a little bit of psychic abilities, and when it comes to these particular cards, we intuitively pick the right card, okay? So I understand a lot of other people within this celebrity group have also received the underground crime syndicate, and yes, it is. It does work as an underground crime syndicate. A lot of these kids get born in different locations, and then they get sent to certain at places like me. Okay, I was born in England. I was, and so important people were involved in this targeting in this program. Okay, so they set it up with their vigilantes. Okay, we're going to make it okay with the Department of Vital Statistics. This is your stuff is going to pass. You're going to be able to get your documents and stuff like that. And so I ended up walking away with official documents. This is how you get into the system. Okay, but the point is that okay, this sort of stuff leads to abuse. Okay, and I understand that a lot of the celebrities, some of these people have more worse abuse than I have, and you know that I have done, videos over 600, 1,600 videos talking about the emotional pain that I deal with because of this program. Okay, and I'm sure some people who are in more closer proximity of their handlers or whatever, and I'm going to say unnecessary handlers. Okay, why? Because these people convince so many other people that they are legitimate and they have every right to do what they're supposed to do, and they have no right whatsoever. It's like any criminal can walk off this up the street and sit here and say, okay, this is somebody that I'm going to use. They work for me, blah 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 blah, and nobody questions it. No one questions it. Okay, so I have suffered, in an unspeakable amount of emotional pain for nothing. Okay, now this was a 100% underground crime syndicate. It is illegal, was illegal. I have been mentioning this several times, but the standards of the average person, okay, are so low that they do not identify what is criminal. They have no concept of good or evil, what's right or wrong. Okay. And I'm not just talking about religious law. I'm talking about secular law. These people, I'm telling you what, we live in a society that is piss poor, just outright evil. Okay. And yes, just like the days of Noah, it seems like I'm the only person who, number one, recognizes what's evil and does not want to participate in evil. And I feel scared for my life most of the time. Now, I'm getting an intuitive message that has something to do with a lot of dead people. Okay, a lot of dead people because they did a lot of illegal stuff, and some of these people were uh, willingly doing illegal stuff because they heard me saying this over and over again, and then some of these people were just ignorant. You know why? Because they kept thinking, oh, so and so, he's got a special name, he's got a special title, he's a part of it, so therefore it must be okay. No, it is not okay. Okay, I'm aware of so many people who hold positions of, titles, lawyers, whatever, who have these, who everybody's so impressed with, and I know that they're nothing more than an imbecile. Okay, I get tired of living in a corrupt society, and that's what we live in. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about why I feel the way that I do, and why I'm very reserved, and why I need to say this. Okay, now I know that some people pretend to be very helpful to me, such as Rex Laverne. Okay. There was a time where my vehicle, I think I either needed a tire or battery. I remember him replacing a battery, and he wants to act like he's doing somebody a favor. Okay, but let me explain something. This is an orchestrated crime syndicate. Okay, so what Rex Laverne was pretending to do is like he wants to act like he's the good guy. Oh, I'm going to go ahead and fix your car. I'm doing you a favor. When the fact is this man has held me back of my own career, has possibly monetized my work, has made money off of me, as well as encouraged the rest of the community to also engage in this. So to me, the whole entire community is nothing more than a criminal. And you get these people that want to grin in my face. It is not acceptable. It is not acceptable to sit here and think that I'm going to just be okay with the things that people do. So Rex Laverne, I get it. Sometimes when people act like they're being helpful, it's usually because they're deceitful and they're trying to hide it. Okay, and that's exactly what Rex Laverne was doing. Okay, um, so the thing is, I'm aware that people have made money off of my ideas. They have robbed from me, and now I'm 12 years after leaving Murray Family Farms, and I'm trying to figure out how I'm supposed to get back on top. So I've talked and addressed President Trump. President Trump is well aware of this vile issue that's been going on, okay? And it has a lot to do with very primitive behaving people, okay, being very barbaric and debating my beauty, mine, something that belongs to me as a part of my body. Okay, so some people who think it's within their right to discuss how another person lives their life who's over the age of 18, this sort of mentality where people feel like they have some sort of control over what you do and what you have, to me, you're nothing more than a fucking, you have a rapist type mentality. You don't have any say over what I do with my body. Whether you don't like my body size, what I wear. I mean, and the fact that these people think that they're educated enough to give instructions on sexual harassment is laughable to me. Now, the intuitive message that I get is that yes, me and my father are soulmates, and yes, we are of a different alien origin, meaning, okay, we have a higher level intelligence than the people that we're around. Okay, that is, and I know people, because these people are so corrupt, they try to find justification as to why it was okay for them to do what they did. It doesn't matter why. And so the other intuitive message that I'm getting is that a lot of people want to date me. Why would I want to date somebody who stole from me? I'm going to ask you that question. Okay, yes, there is serious resentment that I have within this community, and rightfully so. Okay, and I'm doing everything I can to be polite and professional. I need to get through it. Okay, so I find it very offensive that somebody would think, oh, I'd want to go out with her after you benefited from my misfortune. How dare you? How dare you? Okay, get your head straight. No, this is all about business. Okay, I wouldn't touch any of these people with a 10-foot pole. So now I'm talking and making this very clear to President Trump. Okay, I am maxed out when it comes to how I feel about people and the dirty behavior that I have to deal with. Okay, they minimize, okay, the tragedy in this. Okay, I was placed in a fake family. I have been betrayed by my entire family. I have been sold out by my entire. It's all very sick. Okay, and then people think that I want to have my mind is fixated on doing something like dating. I would not want to touch somebody who stole from me. Okay, it's like these simple-minded people. It's very annoying. And see, they think, oh, I'm an occultist, and they think that because I have more than they have, they're entitled to take what belongs to me. This is erroneous in their thinking. Okay, it doesn't matter how they try to justify it. I'm dealing with thieves here. Okay, so yes, people knew who I was. I was the little apparition. Okay, I was probably showing myself as an apparition of CB Braganza at that time. Okay, and now they knew that I was getting cloned. I guess this is a church type thing that's been going on for years. People have known about burden babies and all this sort of stuff, and they allowed me to suffer for their own evil. Okay. I have spiritual insights that I am very, very, like, I find it so deep. Like, I feel like I want to express them. Okay. Like, I talked about updates, biblical updates, or prophecy type updates. And no, I am not a Bible thumper. And the reason why I'm not, even though I'm somebody in my past lives who contributed to the writings of it, is because I feel as though people use the Bible to do bad things. They always want to pick and choose what they want to make a point, right? But they don't want to read the entire thing, okay? And I understand. I live it. Not only is society corrupt, it's lazy, okay? I honestly I'm just sick of it, okay? But I will say that my morals are in line with what is correct, okay? And like I understand there's certain people who belittle women, they belittle my race, they want to attribute the great things of Egyptians to white people or whatever. It's either racial, it's sexual, I deal with racism, sexism, I deal with it, everything, okay? And so I believe that there's a reason why I came out the way that I did, and I think it's quite powerful, okay? Because I proved a lot of points in this vessel, in this blessed vessel. As a woman, as a black woman, I have faced people who have just been outright liars. Just like the Judases, just like the Peters. The Peters are the kind of people, they don't have any integrity. They act like, that was Peter's biggest problem. That's why he had a hard time and denied Jesus 3 times, because he had no integrity. Most people don't have that. Okay, most people, and just like Judas, there's some of those weird people that can sit here and be talking in your face, and like Rex Laverne, acting like he's doing me a favor, acting like he's my friend. This dude is nothing but a liar. Okay, I have dealt with nothing but garbage. And see, what I do like the Bible for this reason is because it does talk about things like human behavior, and just like in those days, people behave, they react the same way. They have no backbone, no morals, nothing. Okay, yes, I can deem society as wicked, easily. Okay, now, but like I said, things change. I understand that the view of marriage has changed. We went from, polygamous to monogamous. And I also think, I understand the population issue. I understand all of that. I'm just saying, and like I said, I stay out of it. As a 54-year-old woman, I have zero interest in producing any offspring at this point. Okay, I already raised my son. Okay, but I'm just saying is instead of like, using other people and forcing people into marriages that they resent, why can't people build better relationships? That's all I'm saying. Okay, that's my take on it. I am not interested in dating. I know people like, oh, that's ridiculous. How I look at people as nothing but evil, and I get the intuitive message like, oh, I'm accepted as I am, but it's too late. Okay, I only look at you as somebody who tried to kill me a few years ago. Sorry, it is what it is. Okay, the intuitive message that I'm getting is that people know that I'm a well-known occultist of the pre-thought movement at that time as CB Braganza. Yes, okay, I am. That does not mean that I do not have respect for what was written in the Bible. That has nothing to do with it. I'm just saying as times change, and that's how it is. Okay, there was a time where men controlled women, blah 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 blah. Now I understand as a woman coming back as a woman having to deal with things like abuse and stuff like this. No, it is wrong for people to do this. So I understand this was a custom that men created. Okay, it is not something that is blessed by God to sit here and control women like they're nothing. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. When it comes to the Bible, a lot of people always want to be fixated on what was cultural or what was traditional, okay, or what they based on, impulse. I guess it's impulsive, or maybe even a secret desire that somebody always thinks of themselves as superior than someone else. So here we have men, and they think they're superior to women. Okay, so therefore they mistreat them or whatever. This is a part of human nature. Okay, it is not blessed by God. I am telling you that now. Okay, I have suffered, and this is important that people understand as I came back in this vessel, and it is a sacred one. I'm getting chills right now. Yes, I am somebody who is extremely devoted to the divine. Okay, now the other message that I'm getting is that I revealed that the Christians' hidden lie regarding their association with the cloning program and human trafficking. And yes, I realize that this is a 100% Christian denominational uh, orchestration, and that's what it is. Okay, and meanwhile, throughout the years, when in my conspiracies, even a lot of conspiracy theorists, the first people that they blamed were like, Masonic groups, lodge groups, blah 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 blah. Okay, I'm not saying there's no corrupt individuals within these groups. Okay, that's totally possible, but you need to understand that for many years, this is where the anger was focused on. Okay, this is where people were talking about, who to blame, who to cast the blame to. Meanwhile, we had these Christian people, you know, they were guilty as hell, just sitting there letting it happen. Okay, and the way I feel right now, I'm absolutely disgusted. I am so disgusted. The intuitive message I get is that I'm highly regarded and protected by a lot of the elites in power. Thank you. God bless you. I appreciate it. A lot of the intuitive message I'm getting is that yes, people agree that beauty is important. Like I said, I am not beautiful. Okay, I understand. I look at Halle Berry and now I don't cut mustard. Okay, but I'm saying is the use of clothes or decorations. Like for example, no, these aren't the greatest decorations. I would say that a lot of the decorations in my apartment are handmade by me. Okay, but they do have spiritual significance. Sometimes my clothes have spiritual significance. Sometimes I just want to imitate nature. I got these bird earrings on. I got this blue shirt on. I'm pretending I'm in the sky. You know why? Because I'm tired of dealing with reality. Okay, it gives me something to escape from. I am not happy having to deal with people who I know steal from me, who have disrespected me, and they got this little fake smile on their face. Okay, I understand that people have disrespected me in this community, and I have no reason to care about them. It is what it is, okay? So I'm being polite, and I'm doing the best I can. Now, the message I'm getting right now is that a lot of people are very glad that I bash Christianity. Yes, okay? I'm still shocked. I mean, like when I seriously wanted to believe, okay, that my oldest sister Tanya, I wanted to believe that she was like me, somebody who was like really connected to God, somebody who felt God, ate, drank, slept. I am one of those people. I'm going to tell you everything about me is just that's how I am. I am 100% within the spiritual realm. Okay, so I thought my sister Tanya was going to church because she was learning lessons or something, or what. I don't know. I thought maybe there was some sincerity for it. I never knew that what she was being a part of was she was a soldier for Christ, which meant betraying me. Okay, all of this stuff to me is just absolutely crazy. Okay, and yes, Christians, I'm getting into the message that Christians have been trying to attack my beauty for many years, and I understand because I read this, came to this understanding in one of my readings, okay, about C.B. Berganza. They resented this about C.B. Berganza. C.B. Berganza had every right to love himself, and Maria Gordon has every right to love herself. Okay, I am tired of your abuse, and it's like these people want to destroy you. They are so demonic. Okay, yes, Christianity is demonic. And I've had my suspicions, throughout the years, saying how there was a lot of inconsistencies in what they were talking about. This multi-denominational coming together to attack Maria Gordon is just like the icing on the cake, is basically what it is, okay? I've noticed the mental problems that many people who claim to be Christian have. I've noticed that they are more mentally off than anyone that you can ever imagine. Okay, why? Is because of the religion. They are forced to live a life that makes absolutely no sense. No sense. Okay, and they willingly give up their stuff. Okay, because it's not that they're willingly, because a lot of times the religions put a lot of pressure on them. Okay, so yeah, it's important that people in this country understand that if you are feeling like your arm is being twisted by your church to stay within those congregations, you have the right to speak up. Okay, now all I'm saying is that I have dealt with, and I don't need people to be on my side. Okay, I understand. I'm diehard, meaning like when I believe in something, I'm going to stand for it. I don't see, the thing is, like, the reason why I'm talking about Peter and people like Judas Iscariot, I'm sure that if it was I who came back as Jesus, that was written about as Jesus in the scripture, chances are it seems like I align with a lot of these, high moral type people in the Bible. Okay, but see, Jesus, it was betrayed by Peter. Okay, and see, he could not count on the support and the integrity and the strength of other people. Okay, and this is something I don't believe in. Okay, so people say they support me, and yeah, thank you for your support. Okay, you know what? But to me, it was not apparent when I needed it. Okay, so and I was somebody who was strong. I was steadfast in what I was saying. Okay, I am not going to believe in your stuff. I don't believe in your religion. I knew you were fake. And see, a lot of people, they cower down and they're willing to live a life that they fucking hate. Okay, only so they can get along with people who don't care about them in the first place. Okay, I don't have respect for how society thinks. Okay, it is very warped, very crooked, and yes, I hate Christianity. Okay, people realize they were wrong, and I should expect compensation. This is the intuitive message that I'm getting. Okay, and of course they're never going to compensate me what I really deserve. Okay, the message I'm getting right now is that people do realize that they were ignorant, and yes, religion is derived from the occult, and this makes it even more so that these people were taking out their abuse unnecessarily on me. Okay, people do agree that beauty is important in all forms. Yes, I understand people are interested in dating me. You know what? Like I said, I cannot be close to people. Okay, and this needs to be understood. I need to be able to focus on getting on my feet, and I need to feel secure. Okay, I don't need to worry about who wants to reach out and touch me and cuddle me and stuff like that. I don't want anyone putting their hands on me. Period. Okay, and I need to make that very clear. Okay, it's like, you need to understand and be completely responsible for the things that you create and the things that you cause. Okay, it's stupid to think that I'd want to be, emotionally attached to somebody who just a few years ago was planning to kill me, and as disgusting as it was, bringing my own child involved in this. Okay, you guys have absolutely no morals whatsoever. None. None. Okay. I want to thank the government officials that support and protect me. I cannot tell you how much it means to me. Okay. All of this is very strange to me because, like I said, no one within the Christian denominations ever came up and told me outright, okay, you were CB Braganza, and apparently you have to keep, we keep bringing you back, and we try to convert you, and blah 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 blah. And this is our game. No one's going to tell you that. It's all been a covert operation. They were willing to use my parents. They were willing to use, the kids I knew at school. They were willing to use coworkers. They were willing to use and plow through anybody and kill anybody that they wanted to, just so they can. And it was all illegal. All illegal. You know what I mean? And so I'm sitting here thinking, oh my gosh, I have to be very careful. I have to be very careful about who I bring into my life. I do get the intuitive message that people think my bag lady fashion is really cool. And the reason why is because, these Christian groups prevented me from working, okay, which made it so that I lost my vehicle. Meanwhile, they were making money off of me, okay? They were making money off of me. These people are criminal. Okay, and like I said, I understand. I'm not interested in dating. Okay, I'm beautiful all for myself. Meaning, like, I wear nice clothes. And this is what I kept telling people. I take care of myself. Okay, I love myself when everybody else treated me like garbage. Okay, I'm going to transmute that energy and transfer it into myself, and that's what I do. Okay, I could care less. Okay, just like people are thinking, oh, aren't you heard about Elon? I'm disappointed about Elon, but when you are a targeted individual, okay, you know not to get emotionally invested in people. Okay, you understand that people that come into your life, they don't just come into your life. They usually they're got some sort of uh, agenda. Okay, so I don't trust people. Okay, and I understood that he was going to have some sort of mental issue because all he knew was being a church slave his entire life. He was raised in it. He was, he lived that life. Okay, so that was, to me, all of this stuff is bizarre. Okay, and no, it's not acceptable to me. Okay, and I understand criminality when I see it, and I'm calling it out, and I'm, thank goodness that I can, and thank goodness I was not, well, I've been educated off and on formally through like this regular school system as well as being an autodidact. I will tell you, they will never tell you how to protect yourself from this kind of thievery in school. Okay, you know why? Because it's their agenda to take advantage of people, so they can sit there and like withhold information, the important stuff, the nuts and bolts of how their operation works. Just like I was talking about sexual harassment, right? And the reason why I feel as though my training on human trafficking is going to far surpass what you're going to get in the which I have to be working. I have to work on my presentation today. Okay, I'm talking about why I feel it's important that my education in human trafficking is going to surpass what the state is going to. Okay, obviously this whole trafficking ring. Okay, everybody was aware of it. Everybody, including the state of California. Okay, you know why? Because they were bringing religion into it, turning a blind eye to all the stuff that was important. Okay? We know now that human trafficking involves false forced marriages. Okay? And I know I feel as though it's erroneous and misleading in a lot of ways to only make the mandatory training required within these certain industries, such as the hotel motel industry, which I would say a lot of sex trafficking does occur there. I do know, I believe certain transportation agencies are being aware. I think like airports and stuff like that. Okay, but look at me. I wasn't working in it as a domestic servant. I wasn't working in hotel or motel industry. You know what I mean? I wasn't working in the transportation industry. I was just a regular bookkeeper, and there's so many other targeted individuals that work in different industries, and they're victims of human trafficking. Okay? See, it's stupid to think, oh, we need to limit this. No, everybody needs to know about human trafficking in every industry. Okay? Not just those industries. Okay? They need to understand, they talk about forced marriages that occur, a lot of times in sexual, human trafficking, if they even go that deep, okay? Because a lot of human trafficking occurs right within your neighborhood. And then a lot of it's even more complex. They have trick a lot of women and men sometimes, or children, attractive people or whatever. They might say, hey, we like your face. We want to go ahead and make you a model. We're going to go ahead and put you on a plane. And then they want to collect your passport so then you can't leave. They trick people into going different places, okay? Just like they tricked me into going to different employers, okay? Sometimes it gets a little bit more complex. They want you to go out of the side of the country. People do all kinds of illegal stuff, okay? And people need to understand these different manipulative tactics, okay? So a lot of times when they talk about forced marriage, they're thinking about forced marriages that might take place over in a different country. Like, they might take a woman over here and take her over somewhere else, and then she gets forced into get married and she can't leave that country because they're very restrictive there. Okay, that happens, okay? But they also arrange, things like jobs and stuff like that here. Like with my case, they were sitting here bringing in Justin Hayward and blah, 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 blah. And we have the Siobhan Ellis stuff and all this other garbage. Yes, this is what I'm talking about. Okay, this is a form of human trafficking. Okay, that I know happens, and they're not talking about it in your required training. Okay, and the limited training that they're getting. Okay, like I said, to only sit here and focus on these two industries is erroneous and wrong. All right, what else? So yes, I am a bag lady, and yes, I do believe in bag lady fashions. Like, I'm thinking about, getting some fabric and making some really nice, beautiful colored, like fall colored, grocery bags to carry my groceries in my cart. I'm also thinking about adding some decor to my cart, like some fall leaves or something. I want to make it look really cute. Okay. And yeah, I believe whatever life tosses you, you beautify it and you do your best to get over it. You know what I mean? But yes, this is how I feel. You know what I mean? And I feel this way because it's true. Okay. I do live in a very morally corrupt society. Okay. And like I said, I'm aware that people were acting like, oh, I'm doing you a favor. No one does you a favor. Okay. You're not doing me a favor. Oh, you can be a part of our carpool and we're in actuality, the car that they only giving you that car because they're glad that they took your car and they've been making money off of you or getting special favors on the side. Fuck you. Fuck you a million times over. Okay. So you and your criminal mind, okay, have done me no favors. Okay. So, I'm interested in networking with people. Hopefully, I can meet people, maybe in the Lancaster community as well as other places in California. I need to work on my presentation. I think it's important that people get properly educated on the issue of human trafficking. And right now, I do not believe that anybody is properly educated on shit. Okay, now anyway, I'm going to wrap up this video. I'm sorry, I just had to say that, okay? Anyway, I do understand that people are recognizing me as the Egyptian, and they do recognize me as the Messiah, and they also are acknowledging the fact that I deserve to have and be actively a part of commerce. Yes, I do. I'm a very business oriented person. I know that people have used and taken my stuff. It's time that I start taking care of myself and putting the money in my bank account so that I can live out the rest of my life as much comfort as I possibly can. Why? Because I deserve that. Okay? I'm tired of being exploited. I've been abused, and I have the right to acknowledge that. So anyway, yes, people have recognized my use of psychology as well as law. And like I said, yes, social studies of this kind have always been interesting to me. Like I said, I've been observing people for the longest time. So, I find it amusing when people think that they're getting one over on me. You never get one over on me. Okay. So it's important that I just keep to myself, focus on my projects, and stay out of the way. Okay. And I would appreciate it. Like I went to Walmart a couple days ago. The cashier was very, accommodating to me. And I said, I was very grateful for that. Okay. And I was very grateful because I brought my own bag and she was asking me, was she arranging things correctly? Okay. And I felt as though she went above and beyond. And I do appreciate that. Okay. But see, I deserve that. And it's not about arrogance. It's not about trying to stir the collective pot. You know what it is? It's called justice. Okay. That to me is only half of, not even half of what I deserve after people have ripped me off. Okay. And yes, people understand that me and my father are meant to be together. We are soulmates. Okay. And no, it's not a romantic thing. It's our love that we have for one another, our understanding of our unique individualism. Okay, my father was a very unique individual. He was an individualist. He would not call himself that by name, but that's what he was. I am also an individualist. Okay, we are very unique people, and we only understand each other. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this video up, and I will be back with another video sometime later. I'm just wanting to understand that I am aware. Okay, I understand what human trafficking does. I understand that money has been generated through my ideas, and I have received absolutely nothing except for garbage. And it was a 100% underground crime syndicate, which meant that I suffered for nothing. Okay, I'm going to wrap up this video, and I will be back with another video sometime later. I need to work on my presentation. I really want to promote the Human Targets video, okay? And I would appreciate it if you would assist me in purchasing it. And like I said, it's $100. I have quite a lot of money to make in order for me to earn enough to move. Now, I understand that the money that has been taken from me is quite substantial, okay? So the least you guys can do is cough up the money to support me in my fundraiser. I'll be back with another video sometime later. Take care. Bye.